back to another Plasticon review. Today we're going to cover something a little different, something a little 80s. So let's go Ghostbusters style and start reviewing Ray stands. Ray comes in a great piece of packaging. And if you guys saw my Winston review, then you guys can kind of fast forward here a little bit. But I'm going to talk about the packaging here. Packaging's got this nice little gradient going on here, and these boxes are really decently made. That's nice Ghostbusters written straight across here, and your Ghostbusters emblem here. This right here is not isn't ripped. This actually can wrap around like this or pop up if you like. If you're going to be storing these probably in a box, I would do something to kind of push this down to keep that from getting ripped off if you're one of those mint and package collectors. Has the Ghostbuster emblem here, the Mattel logo, because Mattel made these toys, and it's got the nice cross cells here on the back showing all the Ghostbusters. Also has this crazy big stand thing. We're going to end up building this at the end of all these reviews, so you guys stay tuned for that. But packaging itself, the bubble does not rub against any of the figures, so that's really nice. This was a very smart move on Mattel's part, because a lot of people out there tend to collect these things and they collect them in a box, and the last thing you want is a bunch of paint rub. That's great. Love the idea that has happened. But let's get rid of this box here and move on to look at Ray himself. Ray is very well sculpted. The head sculpt to me is, I would say it's slightly a little too tall. Some of you guys out there probably would disagree, but I personally think his sculpting is a bit off. I just think they elongated it just a teeny tiny too much. I don't know if it's so much like the forehead or whatever it is, but it's actually not badly sculpted. I would just say that the head itself is a bit too long. But that being said, I mean, the whole entire thing, looking at just the body proportions and everything, I think are kind of spot on, because he was a bit chubbier compared to the rest of the Ghostbusters, but very well done. I mean, the tampering here with the Ghostbuster emblem here on the shoulder just looks beautiful, along with his last name right there on the patch. Nothing is like, there's no overspray, there's nothing off about any of the paintwork at all on these figures. Look at the backpack, the Proton pack, it's got that nice ribbon going here on the back, along with all the greeblies going all across it. Just some crazy detail. Really cool. I do like this. The gun itself is removable out of his hands. I do suggest if you do this, you push the gun up, so that way you can remove the hose from one hand. Hose or cable, if you guys want to call it that. And then the other part here is to just kind of pop it up out of his hand. Make sure you do that between the forefinger and the thumb, just kind of pop upwards. That way you don't risk breaking anything. Now everything is kind of a rubbery type of plastic on that, so you don't really have to worry that much. As for wrapping the gun around, I normally will wrap it all the way across the chest, and then there's a little hole here with a peg, so that way you can actually attach the gun to the backpack. This is kind of a nice touch that Mattel allowed us to do this. That way you can, give him a little different kind of posing. If you really wanted to be able to pose the guy. He does have decent head articulation. The head does kind of bob back and forth just a little, not a whole lot. As for arm articulation, it only goes out so far on account of the sculpting. And as for the elbow, just because the elbow pad, it really doesn't go very far at all. He does have wrist swivel as well as a forearm swivel, which is kind of nice, because it allows you to be able to kind of move the gun around a little bit and actually give him a little more posing. Does have a waist swivel, and the backpack can sometimes bump up against this, so you just kind of be aware of that because of this hose that comes off the back of his belt. As for the legs. The legs actually do have an in and out. I mean, you can actually have him do the splits if you want, but this kind of breaks up the whole silhouette just because of the way the plastic and everything's cut. Does have decent knee, and he does have a toe, which only goes about that far, which is plenty for what you're going to do with the Ghostbusters. Does have a swivel here and a swivel at the boot, which is kind of nice. Does have decent posability, which is something that a lot of people are going to be looking for, especially if they're planning on getting these guys to stand on a shelf to look really, really cool. He does happen to have a hole here on the bottom for a stand, but I'm not absolutely sure what size stand that would fit it. If any of you guys actually know, put a comment down below, because that will kind of help, you know, because you never know, you can actually find certain kind of stands that fit it that aren't actually designed to say Ghostbusters or anything, but maybe somebody out there on Shapeways or something like that built stands for these, I don't know. As for accessories, the cables and such do not come off. They are fully attached along with the backpack. None of this actually comes off, which is kind of nice because that means you can, you know, pick up your Ghostbuster figure and play with it and not worry about a part falling off. It would have been nice to see a PKA meter come with him, or maybe a ghost trap, but that's something that that I think really should have possibly came with these guys. But let's talk about the other part that comes with him in the package. It's the center torso to the ghost that we will be building at the end of this whole run. Very decently built. I just have to say the quality of the just toy overall, along with the ghost pieces. I haven't had any issues whatsoever. Joints have been fairly tight, not like NECA tight where the paint really sticks everything. Have not had that issue whatsoever. But one thing I can tell you is Walmart.com is selling these for $20. I happened to went to Walmart a couple times, watched the price drop. It dropped down to $15, then finally dropped down to $5 a piece, which honestly that's a steal for a Ghostbuster figure, honestly. But you guys are looking for these, keep an eye out because they are on clearance out there. But they're really cool toys. So anyhow, this has been Plasticon. This has been yet another review. You guys stay tuned. I'll have more, plenty more coming your guys' way. And that's it for now. Bye.